We've come a long way since Mendel first discovered the existence of the field of genetics. Let's talk about some important molecular biology concepts that underlie our understanding today. Molecular biology is a big field, and it's where a lot of our medical advancements are coming from today, understanding the structure of cells, how they work, and what's going on in that nucleus. When we want to talk about important concepts here, there's a few basic terms that we want to understand. Then we'll talk about DNA structure, and lastly, its functions. But first, let's start with some of these fundamental molecular concepts to help us understand exactly what's going on. The first thing is that when we're talking at this level, or at the molecular level or the cellular level, structure determines function. The structure of a protein determines what it is able to do. This isn't true when we get to larger levels of organization in biology because there are many ways you can get to a specific type of function, but we're down to the molecular level. This is very much true. There are also a couple important parts we want to know in our cells here. This is, of course, an animal cell because we are primarily concerned with primates and humans in this class. Plants and prokaryotes have a slightly different cellular structure. Of course, our nucleus is very important because that's where the DNA is. The cytoplasm is just the goo kind of everywhere else in the cell. Our ribosomes are a very important place where we synthesize our proteins. And of course, the mitochondria are the powerhouse of the cell. Chromosomes are super compacted DNA, but this word was actually named before we knew what they were. Chromosomes literally just mean colored body. This here is a karyotype. That's just a fancy word for a picture of your chromosomes. One of my life goals is to get my own karyotype taken because that would just be really cool. When we're talking about cells, there are a couple different types. We have somatic cells and gametic cells. Somatic cells are most of what's going on in our body. Our skin cells, our bone cells, our blood cells, anything that creates a part of our body that's not going to be our offspring. Our gametic cells are our sperm and egg, so relatively little about our body. What's interesting with our somatic cells, though, is they have a very unique type of development. They start out what we call totipotent. They can become anything, any type of cell. But as they go down this path of development, they lose that ability. So totipotent cells actually can become somatic or gametic cells. Then we have pluripotent cells. So now these are somatic cells, but at this point they can still become pretty much everything. But eventually they'll go down these paths of development and they can only become one particular type of cell. So they could only become a circulatory cell or a nervous system cell or immune system cell. This is interesting because this is what people are trying to do in stem cell research. They're trying to take these completely differentiated cells in this diagram listed as unipotent, and they're trying to actually take them back. They're trying to make them pluripotent again so they can become any type of cell. And that is the goal of stem cell therapy. It's pretty complicated, but it leads us to one of my favorite memes of all time, Cell Career Day. If you work hard and undergo induced pluripotency, you can be anything you want to be. Of course, I do want to give you a reminder that this is not a molecular biology course. We are only going over the highlights of what is most important to understand, relevant for evolutionary biology. There's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in our cells, so please do take a molecular biology course if you haven't already. So, what are some of the basic principles and vocabulary of molecular biology?